So my name is David, and I'm an independent software consultant, and I put this talk together as an opening keynote for a hackathon for teenagers trying to understand if they wanted to get into technology. So the interesting thing about the talk is, as I was writing it, I realised it pretty much applies to anyone at a hack event, or really anyone that just wants to get some ideas out into the world. So I want to talk a little bit about inspiration and how to take your inspiration and your ideas and make them go somewhere. It's a tough order when you look around a virtual room or an actual event and you look at a list of names and you think that any one of the people in that room could easily be inspiring enough given the opportunity to tell their story. The thing I love about talks like this is that everybody's path into technology is different. It's varied, it's unique. And technology gets better only when it captures the voices of everybody in the room, not just the human standing on the virtual stage talking about inspiration. When I think about this, it reminds me a little bit of when I first moved to London in 2009, and I started going to tech events around town, and a much wiser man than I opened the group I was attending by saying that everybody deserved to be there, and that the only difference between him and everybody in the audience was that he just so happened to be the person on the stage. So he's a widely respected technologist today, and that one single piece of welcoming advice probably changed what I thought I could do with my career and my hobby. So I want to mirror that advice back to you now. If you're wondering if you're going to succeed, you are. You might not have had the idea that'll work today, not for you yet, and you might not find it, not today. But you're already the right person, and you're already in the right room. So why am I here? I want to tell you a little bit about myself and how I ended up in technology. So despite my lack of beautiful northern drawl, I'm originally from Manchester. I was born in Wythenshawe, the biggest council estate in the UK, to parents from a distinctly working class background. I happened to grow up as a kid in Hong Kong by the chance of my father's work at the time in the 80s. My mother worked as a nursery teacher, teaching English, and ran a playgroup out of our apartment for kids that wanted to improve their speech. So I ended up playing a lot with people from all over the region. Some of my earliest memories are going and playing with kids from my apartment complex. And because it was the 80s in Asia, I was playing on a games console that was called the Famicom, which was renamed to the Nintendo Entertainment System when it was eventually released in the UK and Europe. The original Nintendo. So this started a lifelong love affair with games, and later programming, because there is nothing quite like showing someone some magic and then telling them, you know what, you can work it out if you dig deep enough. So computers, games and programming are like this endless puzzle for me. I got a Game Boy on my 5th birthday, and constantly nagged my parents to take me to the night markets to look at the beautiful walls of Game Boy game boxes. So growing up in the mid-90s now, back in Manchester, learning to code wasn't really a thing that my family understood. I got lucky. My mother was working as a legal secretary now, and brought home this massive desktop PC to work on, which was great for me, because I got to play with it at weekends. I broke that computer so many times, much to my mother's dismay, that eventually I had to learn how to fix it. I was studying art, politics and English at school. There wasn't even a computer lab, and combined with nagging my mother to let me use the then brand new internet, back when you had to pay by the minute, and buying programming books from clearance bookshops, I kind of taught myself to be a beginner programmer. Later on in life I would almost fail a computer science degree because I was struggling with motivation. I was worried. I always just wanted to do the thing I wasn't doing at the time. And honestly, I didn't even know if I'd end up working in technology after it. I felt guilty for not working hard through my degree, but I found when the pressure of having to perform passed, I still loved computers. And I started to learn again. And I fell in love with programming again. And now as an adult, almost everything I work on is out of the desire to make something, to create things, to build something beautiful, useful, something that's mine. I happened to help build some successful software on the way, some software that was useful. And I'm telling you this story so that you realise that you are exactly who you need to be today to be inspired enough to build the things that you want to build. Your story doesn't have to be the same as mine. I'm going to tell you a dirty secret. All of the people that did amazing things, they just built those ideas up over time. There is no strike of inspiration. There's no $1 million idea. Ideas really aren't worth anything at all. Execution is everything. Every successful piece of software I've been involved with stood on the shoulders of years, sometimes decades of work that people did before me. Every successful piece of software I worked on was built by teams that cared about each other. So I want to talk to you about caring about things. When you embark on any kind of hackathon, event, a creative endeavour, trying to find a thing to build, to solve a problem, I want you to really think about why you're there. Is it for business? Is it for fun? Is it to learn something new? They're all good reasons for being here, but keeping focused on what you'd like to get out of an event, especially one like this, like a hackathon, will help you take advantage of the experts and the peers at your disposal. Throughout my entire career, from building programs in my bedroom to working in industry, the one constant has always been that all the stuff I poured myself into, all the stuff that really landed, came from one of two places. They either came from pure love or pure frustration. If you love something so much that you can't help to put yourself into it, or when you're so frustrated with something that you never want to do it again, wonderful things get created. Things you care about, things that you can engage with. Those ideas that all seem kind of cool, or kind of fun, those are the ones that never finish. It doesn't make them bad ideas, but they're just not the ideas for you and your energy. So let's talk about business as well, the pursuit of business. So this will often fly in the face of other things you may hear from advisors and people that work in companies over the course of any kind of event. But don't feel beholden to build a business out of all your cool ideas. There are plenty of people that pretend that the only valid pursuits are ones that you can make money out of, but that's just not the truth. One of the greatest revelations of my adult life was learning to find the fun in ideas again. And in having the drive to make things just for the pleasure of making them. You are more than the value you add to a business. Your ideas are worth something to you. So don't be disheartened if your ideas don't feel commercially viable. It's not the most important thing about a creative endeavour. So the original title of this talk was meant to be Getting Creative with Tech, or How to Bring Your Ideas to Life. So I want to talk a little bit about that, some really practical things. So the best ideas are always the ones you finish. Always, always, always strive to do less. When you're looking at your ideas and your ambitions, remove literally everything from the idea that isn't the very core of the thing. That social network tool for food recycling you thought of, take out the social networking. The LinkedIn but for cats, take everything but the photos out. Smaller ideas with smaller teams get finished. You can always add to your idea later. You should focus on a walking skeleton. If you're going to be writing some code, there's this really powerful idea called a walking skeleton where you build only the simplest form of your idea, the skeleton of the idea without the meat on its bones. This lets you make sure that each element of your idea works together before spending time fleshing it out and doing more time-consuming tasks. Making sure that all the bits of your ideas work in isolation mean that if for some reason your idea doesn't work out, you still have the bits that you can use and work in other ideas. And also you should kind of fake everything. So building software takes time and is hard work. So if you can avoid building software, always avoid building software. Make sure that you're focusing on the thing that really makes your idea unique and just make that. There is no point and spending all your time making user profiles, homepages, email campaigns, and really not getting to the meaty part of your idea, that one bit of the idea that proves something, that does something new and wonderful. With enough time, I know you can definitely build user profiles and homepages, but keeping your focus on the thing unique to you will let you know if your idea is really the thing you want to focus on. Also, remember to throw out anything that doesn't work. Ideas are just ideas. Some are good, some are bad. Sometimes you don't know until you try, and there is absolutely no shame and absolutely no failure in trying something and it not working. Finding out that something won't work is one of the most priceless pieces of information you can ever learn. And you should learn to remix. Sometimes a good idea just needs a different perspective to be fresh. Take an outside influence, look at what works in other apps, games, markets or technologies, and copy the good stuff. And there is absolutely no shame in adaptation. Most successful ideas came from the adaptation of something that came before them. One of the most rewarding things about working in the tech industry is that the same skills that you use to make a living and get work can be used to make exciting, fun and weird things for you. I have the immense privilege of being able to spend my time working on fun projects, to balance some of the more corporate work I do. And being able to still find the fun while doing either is something I'm really thankful for. Build sensible things. Build silly things. Build things for your friends. Build things for you. Build things you're proud of. Build something beautiful. So I read this speech by an author who gave a commencement talk at a university graduation a few years ago. And in the talk there was this one line that has stuck with me ever since. He was a writer, and a member of the audience asked him how he worked out what he was going to do with his life after he left university. His answer was considered. The hardest thing in life is to find something to spend your time doing that inflicts the least violence on the humanity left inside of you. We need you, people from all backgrounds with your life experiences and hobbies, to help us build a better technology industry. So please have fun and build something beautiful.